What if one of the most influential countries in the Middle East is playing a much deeper strategic game than most people realize? Some analysts, like the widely discussed Professor Jiang, argue that Saudi Arabia is quietly reshaping its role in global politics, not through headlines, but through long-term strategy. But what exactly is this strategy? Is it about oil, regional power, or something much bigger? And why are global powers like the United States and China watching so closely? Let's break it down. In our previous videos, we explored rising tensions in the Middle East and how energy markets, alliances, and geopolitical rivalries are becoming more complex. We discussed how countries like Iran and Israel influence regional stability. Today, we shift focus to another key player, Saudi Arabia, and ask a deeper question. Is Saudi Arabia quietly redefining its global strategy? Saudi Arabia holds one of the most important positions in global geopolitics. It is one of the world's largest energy producers and plays a major role in oil markets. Because of this, decisions made in Riyadh often have global economic consequences. Saudi Arabia is also a leading member of OPEC, which influences global oil production levels. This gives the country both economic and strategic leverage. But energy is only one part of the story. For decades, Saudi Arabia maintained a strong strategic partnership with the United States. This relationship was built on security cooperation and energy interests. But in recent years, analysts have noticed subtle shifts. Saudi Arabia has expanded its diplomatic and economic engagement with countries like China. This doesn't necessarily mean abandoning old alliances, but it does suggest a more diversified approach. So the question is Saudi Arabia balancing multiple global powers to maximize its strategic independence? Many analysts believe the answer is yes. Oil has always been central to Saudi Arabia's influence. But today, energy policy is not just about economics, it's also about strategy. Production decisions can influence global markets, inflation, and even political dynamics. By adjusting supply levels, oil-producing countries can affect global economic conditions. However, these decisions are usually based on a combination of economic goals and market stability considerations. This is why analysts often view energy policy as both an economic and geopolitical instrument. Saudi Arabia also plays a major role in shaping Middle Eastern politics. Its relationships with countries like Iran and Israel influence regional stability. In recent years, there have been efforts to reduce tensions in certain areas while maintaining strategic positioning in others. This balancing act is part of what makes Saudi Arabia's strategy so complex. Rather than following a single path, the country appears to be navigating multiple diplomatic tracks simultaneously. Now let's address the phrase, darker strategy. In analytical terms, this does not necessarily imply something negative or hidden. Instead, it often refers to a more complex, long-term strategic approach that may not be immediately visible. For Saudi Arabia, this could include diversifying global partnerships, managing energy markets strategically, increasing regional diplomatic influence, preparing for a future beyond oil dependence. This broader perspective helps explain why some analysts describe the strategy as deeper or less obvious. If Saudi Arabia continues expanding its strategic options, it could influence global power dynamics. A more independent Saudi foreign policy could affect relationships between major powers. It could also reshape energy markets and regional alliances. However, global systems are interconnected. Changes in one country's strategy often lead to adjustments by others. This creates a dynamic environment where multiple players continuously adapt to each other's decisions. Looking ahead, several developments could shape Saudi Arabia's future role. Energy market trends, diplomatic initiatives with global powers, regional stability and security developments, economic diversification efforts. Each of these factors will influence how Saudi Arabia positions itself in the global system. 2830. 30-round closing, plus audience engagement. Saudi Arabia's strategy is a reminder that geopolitics is rarely simple. Behind every headline, there are layers of economic decisions, diplomatic moves, and long-term planning. Understanding these layers helps us see the bigger picture. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Saudi Arabia is becoming more independent in global politics, or is it still closely aligned with traditional alliances? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want clear, in-depth analysis of global geopolitics and strategy, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next update.